Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So this one was actually requested by a viewer on one of our most recent videos, and they wanted me to go over everything that you can do to catch up in Phase 7. So just sort of like a checklist from whether you're new at the game, whether you're returning and you needed to level to 60, or if you had a level 60, you played Phase 4, 5, or 6 in and you just wanted to, see what you're going to do. That is what we're going to be talking about today. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the very first step and important thing for everybody to know is that runes, you do not have to go out there and get them. You can get every single rune in every single capital city, as well as every single starting zone. So there's a rune broker right here that you literally just have to go to. You just press accept and you can get every single rune and spell, ability tome, whatever it is, for 1 copper. So you literally go out here, do a quest, sell some stuff, you can get all your runes, or you can have someone, trade you a gold or whatever if you have a friend, something like that. But very easy. This is from the beginning. Or if you're even a returning player, most players probably didn't go and get every single rune. So I even was guilty of this on my druid. I only got the feral ones that I needed. So very important. Would highly recommend you do that ASAP. Then the next biggest change that they have made, which is recently that people might not be aware of, and this is where it comes into if you were a fresh 60, if you were gearing, whatever stage of gear you were at, wherever your character gave up, this is probably going to be the best way to catch up and be geared enough to go into Cares and Crypts, which is the best way to get even more gear right now. So we are here in Booty Bay. Now the biggest change they made was to Tarnished Undermine reels. So you can still only have 150 of these, and they still drop at the same rate. So you can get 1 per dungeon per boss that is level 55 or higher from the dungeons that are pretty much Blackrock depths onward. So all of these bosses drop them. Diremel isn't very good. Diremel North bosses don't. But every single one of these drops 1 reel, and a few things drop 3 reels, like Demonfall Canyon, the Azalagoth. This guy right here, he drops 3 reels for whatever reason. Then they also added that world bosses drop reels as well. So Onyxia's Lair, as well as Kha'Zix and Azurgos and Thunderin, all drop 3 reels per kill. World bosses, every single one of these in Molten Core drops 3 reels. If you do Heat 3, you can get the Molten Core boss as well, which would be a total of 11 bosses, so that's 33 reels. Then also, Blackwing Lair also drops 3 reels, and there are plenty of people that just do 40-man reel runs. They might res DFT and stuff, but you can still get good Tier 1 and Tier 2 gear very, very quickly. So this is 8 bosses in here. 8 times 3 is 24. So Blackwing Lair will get you 24 reels, MC, and bam, you already have 50 reels, as well as a chance of gear. ZG also drops 1 reel per, but most ZG runs are kind of like idle mount runs nowadays. There aren't very many people doing full ZG clears, but you can still get a group together to do those and get some really good reputation with all that and reels. So just whatever you want to do. If you have a group of 5, do dungeons. If you have 10 man, do raids. Then with those reels, you can now come over here and you can buy your Tier 1 and Tier 2 gear. So you can get 8 of 8 for Tier 1, as you can see right here. These are all 8 pieces for Tarnished Undermine reels. And then you can get the bracers, gloves, belt, and boots for Tier 2. In full Tier 1 gear, you probably could do Cares and Crypts. It would not be easy, but it is doable to some degree, which can get you some even better gear that'll be more amazing. I have no way to gauge how hard Cares and Crypts is because I have done it with my guild who has done it the entire time and played through all the phases. So we are pretty much full AQ BIS going in there with 5 people in comm. So my gauge of it is a bit hard to see how easy you could do Cares and Crypts or not as a player. But the devs in the blue post dropping it said the Tier 2 and Tier 1 gear should be powerful enough to get it done. So with that is the best way to sort of get your catch-up gear going, and then you can focus on the Phase 7 systems and going towards that. Also, an important thing to note is make sure you're doing raids. This gear is also really good. A lot of the necks, rings, off pieces. So try to get into a ZG group. Try to get into an AQ10 group. you can get some really, really nice pieces in there, and it can be very essential for your gearing to catch up. Then try to do Molten Core and BWL. There are people that do stuff like that. So like right here, we just have, it is 10 a.m. on a Sunday, and like just people are looking for groups. So looking for Man BWL 2 trial, 2x SR all needed. So like that's like an actual serious group. There are also ones that just do real runs where you get 40 people and you just absolutely blast it to get everyone 24 reels. So they'll even do MC and BWL in one run, and they'll pretty much take anyone. I've gone there just to see what the requirements were, but once again, I'm geared as well as my name's Kaghoe, so they might recognize me. So once again, from my perspective, it's a little, I don't know if they're taking me because I'm me and geared, or if they're taking me just because I said invite, you know? That's a bit hard to discern. I have no way of knowing that. But anyway, after you've started gearing that, then we can talk about all the Phase 7 gearing that you might need to do. Now, for Phase 7, most of the stuff is in Karazhan Crypts. People are all going at the invasion and want to do the invasion, but the invasion is really only required if you plan to do Naxxramas Week 1, or you plan to do more, especially hard mode Naxxramas Week 1. You could go into Nax with your AQ gear and be completely fine and be able to clear it without it. But to do hard modes, you're definitely going to want the Sanctified system. You're going to want to be getting gear. However, this is the Sanctified checklist. This is what I'm telling my raiders to prepare for this coming Thursday. So the most important thing that you are going to want to do is make sure that you, one, are doing Karazhan Crypts, getting attuned to that, and doing that every single day. The gear in there is just better than AQ. So, like, example, on my Druid, this staff, this Servant's Quarterstaff, is a better weapon than what I was using, whether I was using the High Warlord weapon or this job, the Sand Reaver. It is just more defense, it is more attack power, it gives 1% hit, and it gives 40 stab and 25 edgy. So, like, this weapon is insanely good for a tanking Druid, so I was able to get that. There are a lot of really good weapons in Karazhan Crypts, as well as just some general gear that you might want to take for some really cool effects, like these Racers, pure DPS, and it's Sanctified opposed to Timeworn. Now, the Sanctified and Timeworn systems are important. So Timeworn was introduced in AQ and is the AQ system. So, like, this ring, you can get this ring at friendly as well and get the effect. You do not have to have the exalted one. Very important to note. But the bottom there, it says, this is the tanking one, obviously, and it says reduce the chance of your attacks to be dodged or parried per 1%. By 1% per piece of Timeworn armor. So, like, my build is the 4-set tier, and then it is everything Timeworn. So we have the Timeworn tanking belt, we have the Timeworn tanking gloves, we have the Timeworn tanking boots, Timeworn tanking bracers, and then they don't have a Timeworn cape or weapon or anything like that. So I just put on as much Timeworn stuff as I possibly could for that ring. Very similar with the Sanctified system that we're about to go over is going to be that. So I would highly recommend doing Karazhan Crypts after you're tuned every single day. That is going to be huge. It might take you a bit to be able to get into that stage, but Kara is really where you're going to get awesome gear to be ready for Naxxramas. Then the next thing is to make sure you get your undead slaying gear set. So me as a druid, the tier set that I want is going to be the undead set of warding, and so I have gone after that. So this is the few of the other pieces. So my warding is right here. So there are 3 pieces to this. So the gloves are, you can get this by going to an Argent Outfitter, and I have an auto accept on. That was almost really bad. So I'm going to turn my auto accept on there. So you go to the Argent Outfitter, and this is where you get the gloves. So you, for 30 necrotic runes, which you get from the event, you can turn these in and get whatever piece you want. They did change it to where you can get every piece. So if you are plateware, you can get mail, leather, cloth as well, not just plate. Then I would also recommend spending your necrotic stones on the sharpening stones right here, or Blessed Wizard Oil. These will be the best in Naxxramas, so very important to get those. But I would focus on just getting your set gloves from this. Then the bracers, honestly, just buy them off the auction house. Tons are dropping everywhere, but they drop from rare spawns in the invasion, as well as they drop inside of Karazhan Crypts for bosses in there and mini bosses. The next one is going to be the chest piece. Now, the chest piece drops in Karazhan, or it drops off the Shadows of Doom at the Invasion. Since everyone's going with 40 people and they're blasting those, that might be a little difficult to get as regularly. It took me quite a long time, and I'm a tank, so I'm a tank druid, so I'm the only one on the leather set piece, and it took me 3 days to get just farming it out. So I got very unlucky. But the important thing to do is make sure you have 150 remnants of valor. You are going to want to get these by turning in Shadows of Doom hearts, which are very easy to get now. You just go to Invasion. You don't even have to participate if you're lazy. You can sit there for 40 minutes or like 20 minutes while your raid group of 40 kills the thing. You loot your heart, you go turn in the hearts in Lights Hope Chapel right over here at the graveyard, and then you go and get the other, you make sure you get the never or laid to rest quest right here, never at rest, to get another Heart of Doom, because these give you the 40 remnants of valor every time. You want 150 of those because when Naxxramas opens, you go and get your Seal of the Dawn trinket. I did a video covering that entire system yesterday, so if you want to see that, definitely check it out. I'll definitely drop it down below, but that is how that system works, and that is going to give you a % increase on every single piece of Sanctified gear. So this is why we wanted this 3 set. So as we can see right here, these are 3 pieces of Sanctified, and the set bonus treats your Seal of the Dawn bonus as if you were wearing 2 additional Sanctified items. So by getting your Undead Slaying or Undead Warding, whatever set, that gives you 5 Sanctified pieces, and the 5 Sanctified pieces is going to be 5 times 4% if you go into Naxxramas like that, and that is not counting any other Sanctified pieces that you were able to get. So like these gloves, I would put these gloves on week 1, even though they aren't the most tanky. These would be good gloves for me to put on for that Sanctified bonus, because it gives me like 12% more threat, 4% damage, and 4% HP. So like these would be better than my Timeworn gloves and the Timeworn bonus, just simply because they are Sanctified. And there are a few pieces like that inside of Karazhan Crypts, and you want to do your best to get as many Sanctified pieces as you possibly can, because the Seal of the Dawn trinket is that powerful. So that is pretty much the breakdown. You can also get other rewards from the Argent people, which I have covered once again in another video talking about insignias of the Crusade, but that gear, only if you are going for week 1 hard mode, is the only reason to possibly go after that. It'll all be replaced in Naxxramas, so I wouldn't really focus on that too much. The biggest thing is this 30 slot bag right here. That is definitely worth getting, and I will also link that video down below because there's a lot there, and this video is already long enough. But as far as reputation goes, the only thing you really need is Argent Dawn Honored, and then you can get attuned to Naxxramas. There isn't really anything you really need that is like that. People are actively farming the invasions to get their Brood of the Nozdormu ring. Since the war effort is currently always active, you've probably been around and you've seen the Anubis constructs and those AQ mobs just out in the world. There are people just looking for people to go and farm that as well. So both of these things are very, very viable. And if you have a group of 5 friends and you know you're undergeared, you can still go into Karazhan Crypts and kill a few bosses. You do not have to full clear it to get some of those really good pieces of gear. So pretty much that is the entire process. That is what I would do if I was a fresh player. Honestly, try to find a guild. A lot of guilds are recruiting. If you're on Crusader Strike Hard, I'll take anyone. Just DM anyone in the Sod Saviors or DM me directly. I'll take everyone, and you're all welcome to join my community, and hopefully we can get you playing the game and enjoying it. So I can't really do much if you don't want to play with us, but you know, that is it for this video. If you have any questions, any comments, anything like that, definitely drop it down below and I will do my best to reply to them. But until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.